your pals, Professionals and Animal Lovers Society. We used to say Professionals and Animal Lovers Show, excuse me. We used to say, and soon to be the Professionals and Animal Lovers Society, but there's no more soon to be, man. The society is growing. It's moving and shaking, man. We got meetings, we got connections, we got relationships, we got people building business together. So exciting. But we do a bunch of things. It all started out with a podcast, this here show called the Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. We do three things on the show. We learn, we educate, and we advocate. And together, what we're doing is Valerie, Hefron, and we believe that the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. And we support one another in business, in networking, and in rescue and in advocacy so that everyone wins.
Especially the animals.
That is right. That's Valerie Hefron. I'm Tommy D. Val, what's going on, kid? How you doing?
Okay, I have something that I want to start off with today because it's relevant to what we're going to be talking about, which is OC Raw, pet food nutrition, species appropriate. But let's start with the human stuff. I am so annoyed this morning because I woke up and I read some articles and all of that. Well, what comes up that Consumer Reports recently analyzed 23 brands of protein shakes. So we're big on smoothies here, especially my husband. He makes a smoothie like 3, 4 times a week. And the brand that's in my pantry was on that list. And the list is about how they found dangerous levels of lead as
Mhm.
well as other things like arsenic and cadmium. But the lead, it's like basically it says that it exceeds the maximum daily requirement. Like it's actually at a dangerous level. And you think about like you think you're eating healthfully, you're making smoothies, you got fruit, you've got ginger, you almond milk, whatever you're doing,
Yep.
and you find out that the protein that you're putting in has lead. So I woke up and that's what hit me and I was just like, "Oh my gosh." But one of the things that I wanted to quote from the article is that it says when you fortify your diet with supplements, you're putting yourself at greater risk. That's from Nicholas Bird, PhD, professor of health and kinesiology at the University of Illinois. So, what does this have to do with pet food, right? Well, first of all, the standards for pet food are like 100 times lower than what's okay for us. And apparently, what's okay for us is not that great anyway. But also, one of the things that we love about OC Raw, and this is where our guest is from, she works with OC Raw. She's our rep, Wendy Ganserite. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, is that they meet our standards. And once I took my certification course, I realized that I don't want synthetics in our pet food. It's the reason for a lot of recalls. Many of them have been deadly. And we looked for brands to bring into our shop that are all of the vitamins and minerals and protein are derived from whole foods. So this is something. It's a big deal. I wish that more pet parents. This is our job though to educate them. But I wish more and more pet parents were aware of the potential dangers of synthetics. Period. So I'm very passionate about this subject. And without any further ado, let's
Well,
welcome our guest.
Well, I
Yes.
want to welcome Wendy, and there is a little more further ado I got to do because I got to set context
Okay.
for people. I got to set paradigm for people, right? Here's the
Okay.
deal. You talk about this we and this little shop, and I'm not trying to put you on the hot
Oh,
seat here, but
yeah.
really because let's give people because not everybody knows, and it's not me being mean or giving you a hard time. It's me,
Okay.
really just me not. It's me hearing you, and some people I know, but some people might not know. So
Yeah.
who is this we, and what is the store, so
Okay.
people understand?
Sorry. Yes. I'm worse. I'm not good at self-promoting. Okay.
I'm
So
here. That's why we're together. It's all good, man.
Yes. So my husband and I decided to open up a holistic pet food store about 2.5 years ago. We're located in Greenville, South Carolina. It's called the Canine Shop. And also since then, I launched a company that houses a small production line of species appropriate doggy ice cream and bone broths. I just made a batch of locally sourced ostrich bone broth. So, yay.
I love
Ama-
that. And congratulations. Sorry, Wendy. Congratulations on all that, Val. Wendy, jump in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I love everything that you're doing in your community because the education piece is so invaluable, and you don't get that when you buy online, right? You can't come in and you can't ask questions like, this is what's going on with my dog. How can I make my pet better? You can't do that. But you guys are doing a great job at educating the community. And I can see it when I'm in there, how valuable it is.
Yeah.
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 So,
I just want to say one other quick thing before we jump in this conversation with Wendy. I was asked by a nonprofit. I do a lot of work in the nonprofit sector, and I was asked by a nonprofit organization, which I've featured on my show, Philanthropy and Focus. It's called Plant Powered Metro New York. They're a plant-based educational food organization, and they go into the schools and they partner up with different community-based organizations, transforming people's diets. And I featured them on my show, and they have a Jumpstart program that's actually starting next week. And they asked me to be part of that Jumpstart program, Val, which I haven't even told you about. So when I keep hearing you talk about species appropriate foods and things like that, you and I are not vegetarians. We're not vegans. We're not, necessarily saying that people shouldn't eat meat, should eat meat, whatever. People run their own race. But I think it's interesting to test out different things. So I'm going to be doing this project over the next 21 days, starting next Thursday. And it's going to be something that I'm going to be able to tell people about and how it affects my health, just going on a more plant-based diet. I mean, you and I, Val, talked about over the years, what is it, Meatless Mondays and different things like that. Shout out to some of our friends and stuff. So there's just so many different things, and it's all about education. So, Wendy, now, without further ado, we've answered all the questions. Good thing we don't have a call-in line. Somebody might ask more questions right now, and then we'd have to go another way. Val, how'd you meet Wendy? Let's go
mhm.
that direction. And how did you guys start working together? And then Wendy, tell us about the
Okay.
I met when, well, so first of all, we started working with OC Raw. We brought in a couple of their product lines. We didn't really have the freezer space to allocate for what we carry now, which is a lot of their food and everything. And I loved what they were doing. Again, we just didn't have the space. That was Global Expo like 2.5 years ago, roughly, right? And then we went to the Global Pet Expo in Florida again in March. And that is where I met Wendy, but also I had already been deep in the rabbit hole of finding
Mm,
ones that meet higher standards. So when we saw OC Raw there with a massive display, it was beautiful. We just started talking, and I was reading their ingredients. I was going through the freezer. My poor husband was like, "All right, let's get the show on the road," and I'm just like with the bags of food. And I really liked what I saw. So we went all in. We actually bought one of their freezers that were on the floor, like the floor model freezer.
oh, wow.
Struck a great deal because it's a lot cheaper than buying a brand new freezer from a factory. And it
Yeah.
came with like tons of food. Like if memory serves, it was like $2,400 worth of food to stock it with.
The
Um,
trade show special. You got the trade show special. I love that, right? You
yes,
took you, you
Duper.
took
Yeah.
advantage.
yeah.
Good, smart business people, you and Hef,
Oh,
taking a
yeah, for
chance. I
sure.
love that. You got to take chances, man. Yeah.
But also, I want to ask you, Wendy. I don't think I ever really asked you this, but like, um, how did you get into OC Raw, the pet industry in general, and also how long have you been feeding a species appropriate diet?
Yeah. So I got into this um, kind of nutritionally, like because I rescued a dog who had cancer. So I started to question what my vet was telling me, what to feed. When I rescued him, it was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And he came to me with stage four mast cell.
Wow.
And what my recommendation was to do chemotherapy. And he was 10 when I rescued him. I love a senior dog. And when I did my own research, I just wasn't, it didn't sit right with me. I didn't feel like his quality of life. Basically, what they told me was it could buy him 3 to 6 months if we did chemo.
Um,
And or if we did chemo 6 months, if we didn't do chemo, he would also maybe live 3 to 6 months. So it didn't seem like it was the right way for me to go. So I opted not to do that and look at more of a food-based way of feeding to see if I could at least give him the best quality of life. So I
mhm,
took him off all processed food. I followed Karen Becker's like cancer protocol and did first started to make his food. Um,
mhm,
so I used meats like venison and did this whole like one of her recipes. And
mhm,
I could tell he was thriving.
mhm.
He was a dog used for breeding. He was fed kibble his whole life. He didn't come to me feeling what good. Also, he had stage 4 cancer. So that's how I started. And then I started to check out my local pet stores who were starting to educate me, like what you're doing with your community. And then I opened my eyes more and I'm like, okay, well, what's better than this now? I'm cooking, he's doing great. Now, what is better than that? And
Mhm.
that is how I started feeding raw. And back then, there were only a couple of options. I mean, now it's taking over,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Category is growing faster than any category in the market. So it's changed a lot. But back then, with my two options, they were great options. And he lived 2 years.
oh
So
wow.
without chemotherapy. And that was it for me.
Yeah.
And you know how you get a dog and you learn more and more with every dog. So after that, I got another cancer dog,
Wow.
and I did
Wait,
even
wait, wait,
better with
wait.
her.
Did you know that your first dog and the second one had cancer before
Yeah.
you adopted them? That's incredible. I
The
just want
first one you knew as well?
First one, I did not know that it was, so I knew he had had a mast cell removed,
to. Mhm.
but we did not know at the time that it had invaded his body. So,
Okay.
but with the girl, I was her foster home and she had, so while I had her in foster, she had a tumor removed from her face. And then she was not as far, like, as far as grade goes, she was with me for 5 years. Um,
Mhm.
and she was 7 when I got her. So
Yeah.
I immediately, the day I brought her home, knew like I'm the only home she could have. Like obviously, like the way I'm gonna feed her and take care of her. The day I got her, I switched her immediately to raw food.
Mm.
And she lived until she was 12, which is they're Rhodesian Ridgebacks. I mean, that's a big breed. So, um, and they're prone to mast cells.
Yeah.
So all three of mine had it. And so that is where my journey began. I had a dog who I poured into research on diet and how food is medicine. And
Right.
I believe that for myself. That's how I eat a whole food diet. I take very few supplements. I do not eat processed food. And
Mm.
my dog helped me. This is the crazy thing. My journey with my cancer dog helped me to look at what I do. So
Yeah.
it
Oh,
wasn't, it's like the chicken and the egg,
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
learn from myself. I learned through him. And
uh-huh.
so, yeah, it's been a incredible journey ever since.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I will say this, like a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago or so, I've tried different diets like Tommy's referencing. We've done, keto for a while, or we tried to do vegetarian, tragically failed at that. Then we tried a 30-day vegan challenge. Nope.
Wow.
Because I just remember, like, I cook a lot.
Mhm.
And I had a hard time. I also like to have leftovers. Had a really hard time finding recipes that I could like batch cook with. And long story short, I remember one day being in my old house in Baldwin and like 10 years ago, and I ate a bag of Doritos for lunch because I was starving and I was looking for something that was vegan. And I was like, all right, well, here it is, right? And then I just stopped myself and I was like, there's no way this is healthier than like a grilled piece of chicken or with some vegetables or anyway, didn't work for us. But that said,
Doritos is not a sponsor, so we don't have to worry about that. But let's be honest. Like we all find ourselves. I think a lot of that is what you talk about preparation too, because I
yep.
should find sometimes, and I just had I told you I had like a burrito bowl with refried beans, no meat, no nothing, right? Guacamole on top just now.
Mhm.
And that I needed to eat that just now before we started the show because if not, 3 o'clock's gonna roll around. I
Yep.
haven't eaten. Now I'm ravenous and I'm gonna grab whatever I can get my hands on and eat that. And that's the problem. So it's like a preparation thing too, Val.
Yes.
The Doritos, ironically, are on some list that says they're vegan. And like that's I'm not joking at you. I'm just joking about the whole like that's
No,
not
but
what
I
right?
just for us, we were doing it for health purposes. I wanted to
Yeah,
shed a couple of pounds too, but
yep,
anyway, it wasn't right for us, and it's certainly not right for animals. I mean,
right.
I
Species
understand the
appropriate.
vegan mentality of being compassionate to animals, but the truth is, cats and dogs are carnivores. Cats are obligate carnivores. They require meat and organ
Mhm.
and bone, but also. We have several customers whose dog have cancer, who they have cancer. And when they switched over, the energy level, the
Yeah.
shiny coat, shrinking of tumors. We're seeing shrinking of tumors. It's incredible. And I forgot who said
Quality
this,
of life. Quality of life.
quality of life. And I forgot who said this, but this is just the truth. You know, you're either starving or feeding disease.
Mhm.
And so, for anyone who has a pet with cancer, please, please cut out the carbs,
Yeah.
cut out the legumes. We don't want them to ingest things that are going to feed this disease. And switching gears for a second, we have to talk about Leah. One of the things that we love to do is we love to do events. We love to have a give back component. We've done a couple of fundraisers where people can send the rescue directly, a minimum of $5. Some people do five, some people do 100. It's incredible. And then they write a message and we post the message on our wall. We call it like the wall of hope. So we recently did this for a dog named Leah who was found with severe burns. I've never seen anything so, it's heartbreaking, the pictures, but severe burns. Nobody knows what happened. She was like half dead on the side of a road. And she also had like maggots that were all over her. And I was so distressed over this. This timing coincided with the most recent expo that we went to, that OC Row was there in Atlanta. And I mean, it was like, it was hard for me to concentrate. I was there to try to, make deals, do business, whatever. But this dog and her pictures were just so prevalent in my mind. So I showed them to Wendy. And immediately, I didn't even ask her anything. I was just like, look at this poor dog that we're, whatever. And Wendy said immediately, can we sponsor her? And I was like, I don't know what that means, but sure, let's do it, right? And so OC Raw for the past several months have donated a bulk box that's 18 pounds of food every month. For 6 months, they're doing it. And
Val, do you have your pom poms? Don't you
I,
usually use
but
pom poms?
don't kill me.
I need
Here's
pom
the other room, but I do. Yay. But,
Yay, pretend pom poms. That's
but
a picture of Leah right there, right? That I'm
yeah,
sharing.
that she's so cute. And the other thing is that her progress is astounding. Like I thought she was going to have a big giant scar the size of her back, but I really believe because she's been being fed the best food that her hair, and not only is her skin healing, her hair is regrowing and her scar is going to be like nominal compared to what everyone thought it would be. So I just want to thank you, Wendy and OC Raw, from the bottom of my heart because you guys are really making an impact. This dog is thriving. She's doing so well. And anyway, these are the types of things that we really love doing. And these are the types of companies and people we love aligning ourselves with.
Yeah. I think that having the same passion, I mean, it's just, it came natural between the two of us, right? Because Definitely, this is all for the better, health of our pets. I mean, that is 100% what it's about. And when you told me the story of this precious little angel, I I mean, it didn't even occur to me anything but to like give her the best opportunity to heal as quick as possible. And that is my message. Anytime I do a seminar, I say, who here believes food is medicine? And that is my message that I always want to drive home,
Yes.
is that our animals are they see you, they wag their tail, they're happy, but we want them to have the best chance to
Mhm.
feel the best until, whatever life they live, 14 years, 16 years, 10 years. And food is the biggest contributor to that. I mean,
What do you mean
environment
seminar?
too.
Wendy, when you say seminars, give us some context of what you do because as Valerie kind of set it up when she and I were talking, you're the sales representative for
Yes.
her store and maybe a
Yeah.
territory and things like that. But tell me, give us some context on like the history of the company. I'm looking at the website. By the way, gang, it's ocraw.com, ocraw.com. Check that out. But give us some of that backstory, please.
Yeah. So uh, OC Raw has been around since 2009. I'm newer to the company, but I'm the regional sales rep, so I do cover 6 states. And with my passion, I one of the things I love to do, and not just representing OC Raw, but to educate in all of my territory. I'll do consumer seminars where I'll, on a store level, like canine shop, Val would invite her customers or people in the community to come and listen to and be educated about whole food feeding. And they have been extremely successful. And I'll tell you, it's surprising to me that the the age gap, like I will have 20 something, I'll have 70 somethings at these seminars.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for so long in this industry, and I have never seen um, how more people asking questions and questioning what's going on at the vet level or, processed food level. Like, so it is mind blowing, and it makes me feel so good that there are, people are showing up to these seminars with amazing questions,
Yep.
and they're walking out with a lot of raw food.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
The
matter
other
if
thing
you're 20
I
or
love about,
70, you
yeah,
love your dog, you want to
right.
give your dog the best chance.
I get very excited when I get a young person, like early 20s in the store. And a lot of times they're really up to speed. I
Yes.
one young lady who comes to mind, and she's probably 21, and she walks around the store and she's like, "Oh wow," she's like, "You've got colostrum." Like they are
Mhm.
so far ahead. I wish I knew back then what I
You know
know
what
now.
it is, Val, too? It's a sea change in the way in education, but it's also, I think, a sea change in access. People now, you and I don't know if Wendy wants to be lumped into our age bracket, but let's just say in the
Yeah.
past, yes, you do. Okay. I mean, we all probably remember when there was no internet, and then we remember America Online, and then now, right?
Yeah.
So access to everything, forget
Yep.
TikTok and Instagram and all that, just the internet, period provides so much access and knowledge and then I think the big part about it is you build community around these things and it becomes like a situation where it's actually cool to know about raw food for your dogs and stuff and your cats and things, right? And one
Yeah.
more thing I want to say on that is, you must freaking be in bliss. Like we don't talk enough about that piece. Like the fact that you have a store that you can, it's a platform, let's call it that, right? That you can say, oh, we should do? We should actually have like an educational event from like 6 to 8 on Thursday. I don't know why I'm using that voice, but
Yeah.
we should like have that and we should bring some folks through and we should have, it'd be cool if Wendy came through and spoke. And
Yep.
why don't we have other business professionals,
Yes.
like whatever
I
that is, we get to
because
do that.
that's the event side to me. And
Yes, I know that about.
we're, we're going to be doing a lot of that. We're bringing in speakers from a lot of our vendors. Um,
Hmm.
and also, every once in a while, what I love to do is bring the customers together, especially anyone who's like in business, they have a product or a service to sell. I call it pet working, right?
Yes.
And we just have like a night in the store. We have some light refreshments and all of that. But what people realize, it's like not only are they pet parents and they have a love for the animals, but they all there's a need for support in this world of raw feeding because unfortunately there's still the majority aren't up to speed on it or maybe they're not ready or they're just blindly following whatever
Yeah.
someone tells them to do. And so when we're around each other, we're telling stories like, we're talking about our own pets, the visible improvements in their health. We're talking about when we first started feeding raw, what made us switch and all of that. And then there's the community, the resources. People talk about the truth about petfood.com, the documentary Pet Fooled, the doctors that we follow, Dr. Connor Brady, Karen Becker, Dr. Judy Morgan, it's a wonderful community. And yes, Tommy, it really does.
Cool, Val. It makes me a little jelly, like my kids would say. Well, they would probably say, we don't even say that anymore, Dad. But like, it makes me a little jealous because I am up here, Strong Island, represent, and you are not. And I don't get to come to all these little parties you have, but I do see how you turn. And what is that good for business? Of course, it's good for business, right? But that's not why my friend Valerie does that. You do it because it's good for community and it's good for the animals, especially the animals. And the thing I would just kind of like to underscore is two things actually. One, maybe people will laugh at, which is cool because I get a rise out of that. But I wonder you're going to end up having a couple that are not a couple when they come into this community, and one folks are going to end up getting married. That's just going to happen or
Oh my
date.
gosh. Okay, you ready
Probably
for this?
already. I know you've done that. I know historically you've done that, but
I
I think
am a
it'll happen.
matchmaker.
Right. You're a matchmaker. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make
Oh
me
God.
a match. You do
I
this
No,
stuff and then no, you do that and then you think I'm not going to sing. I can't help you.
I
I'm sorry.
know.
And the other thing is, shout out to community. I gotta just mention, everybody knows, or if you don't know, an offshoot or an outgrowth of this podcast radio show here is the Professionals and Animal Lovers Society. Two levels of membership, gang. There's an advocate level of membership where somebody becomes an advocate for a very nominal fee, $100 a year. And that full $100 we donate back to a rescue or a nonprofit on a quarterly basis. We donate the whole thing. So when that money adds up, we write a check, we negotiate, we decide who the best is, and we'll do the due diligence to make sure it's a reputable organization. And on the other side, we have a level of membership for business professionals. So that's really, and I didn't plan on pitching or angling anything here, but for $1,000 a year, $100 a month, somebody becomes part of PALS, the society. And what does that mean? We have business, we're networkers, Valerie. This is what we do. We own businesses, we bring people together. So it's really an opportunity for folks to collaborate, not just locally here in New York, not just locally in Greenville, but wherever you find this podcast, reach out to us, pal-show.com, Tommy D at pal-show or Valerie at pal-show, and we'll get you sorted out. I didn't know we were going to go there, Val, but I'm just thinking, I'm hearing you building community, Wendy talking about the educational piece of this, and that's a big part of what we're doing. We do three things on the show, right?
Yeah,
Learn, educate, advocate. That's what it is, man.
I will say this, that as someone who ran networking groups and events for 11 years, I have done so many different types of like specialty events, right? Niche events, if you will. So I've done women only events called professionistas. I've done legal eagles, which is a room full of attorneys. I've done real estate professionals. And those were always, in my humble opinion, great. When you kind of hone in and you make it a highly beneficial room of people. Um, but in 2018, and I'm so glad, thank God for Facebook and all of that because they capture the memories.
Mm.
In 2018, I did my first like pet working event, which was a room full of regular people that don't necessarily work or own a business or anything, but they're more like advocates, right? And pet parents. And then we also had people in the room who were in business and did have something to promote. The amount of business that was generated from that first event, it's still parlaying into today, but also the amount of time that it takes for people to feel comfortable with other people and like build rapport and feel a bond, it's probably halved. I've never seen anything like that before in the business networking world. I mean, Wendy, we see it now because if we're at a pet expo, obviously everyone there has an interest in pets. But in the regular traditional business networking world, that didn't really exist.
True.
So, to bring consumers together, advocates together, pet parents, and people who are in business, it's a home run. I love it. And yes, I love what I do every single day because whether I'm at the store talking to customers, I do nutritional consults now, I can do it via Zoom, whether we're podcasting or whether we're doing the Zoom calls with our members, there is not a single component of what I do that I don't love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to get back to OC Row because there's something I want to highlight. I believe this is very unique. I don't know of another company that does it. You may, I don't know, but this is the first company that I had ever learned of that. Okay, so the brands that we carry, they're all of the highest of standards, right? We look for human grade, we look for whole food nutrition, we look for no synthetics, like we said. Um, And so, what most companies, if not all, I don't know, they offer, let's say they have a beef recipe, they have a chicken recipe, they have a rabbit, duck, name the protein. And when I say recipe, it's because they add in fruits and vegetables so that they can meet the minimum requirements that the regulatory board requires to be able to call a pet food complete and balanced. So why am I saying this? OC Raw is the only company I know of that that recipe changes based on the protein. Is that right, Wendy?
Supplements change.
The
The whole
supplements
the
change.
whole food supplements that we use change with every, so the meat obviously changes, the protein, and then the very limited fruit and vegetable is the same because that is what helps a dog transition from protein to protein because that's what we want to encourage, right? So that dogs get a balanced diet with different proteins. But the whole food supplements that we use change with every protein because we believe that energy, we are an energetic way of feeding. So cooling, warming, neutral, hot, that whole thing is is definitely a way to heal our pets. And so the energy of the supplements need to match with the protein. Um,
That's amazing. See,
yeah.
that really blows my mind in terms of attention to detail. We've talked about food energetics here a couple of times, but just really, I mean, it's so important. I recently read Rita Hogan's book called
Yeah.
The Herbal Dog. We had her come down as a speaker, and that was a book signing, and that was amazing.
That's cool.
Um, but when she wrote in her book, when I was reading it, and she said early on that plants also have energetics, my mind blew up. Like I didn't know
Mhm.
what to do with that. I was like, oh my God, there's so much more to learn.
Yes.
I mean, everything, right? Every herb, every flower, everything has its own energetics. And I was like, but
Don't you remember those trees in the Wizard of Oz? Like they came to life and they were throwing the apples. They look pretty energetic, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
That's a different kind of energy.
Different kind of energy?
Yeah.
yeah,
No?
more like energy level. We're
Yeah, man.
more about this Chinese food energetics, but
Yeah.
I'm
that
with
is
you. I'm trying to be funny. I'm just
yes,
trying to
no,
be
that was
funny.
funny. That was he comes up with the best movie analogies. Um, but yeah, I mean, and it's just so important. All of this, the nutritional aspect, the attention to detail, the highest of standards. I can't thank you enough too, Wendy, you personally, and professionally, because look, in terms of support, you guys are top tier, like top notch. I mean, Wendy came to our store for our anniversary party.
That's
Um,
support, man.
Yep. And she had a table of samples and she educated our customers. And like I've told her, I've never seen a brand that we bring in take off so quickly in our store like OC Raw.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you a question about that. Wendy, sorry, I want to ask you one question, and whatever you were going to say too. But my quick question is like, were you soliciting them? Were you calling Val and Hef and trying to get a meeting? Like, because the fact that it took off so
They found
quickly.
me.
Okay, cool. Tell me about that. Yeah, please.
They found me at, I mean, I would have eventually found them, but
Right.
they found me at the Global Pet Expo.
Oh, the show where they bought the freezer. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So she wandered into my booth and it was like love at first sight. But and then when I worked their event, I mean, here's the thing. I could be a rep for many brands, but if I'm not passionate about it, my success is it's just not the same. I love our small family-owned company. I love that we make our own food. I love the quality of the food that we produce. I love how it changes dogs. I tell people, because I have stores call me all the time that they need help with like a certain issue, whether it's allergies or cancer or whatever, and they're like, please help. I'm like, I just tell people, give me 30 days. At
Mhm.
the very minimum, give me 30 days to show you that food can be healing.
Mhm.
And the reason why Val and I love what we do so much is that we get to hear at the end of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, we get to hear that customer say, thank you so much. My dog is healing or healed or thriving or whatever it is. But that positive feedback is why I've been doing this for so long.
It is so rewarding. It really is. Oh, and I wanted to mention this. I don't know if I ever told you this, but when was this? This was around Valentine's Day, I think. No, whatever, it doesn't matter. I forgot what holiday it was for. But a local, I say local, it's so funny. I don't live in New York anymore, but when I did, I met this local reporter there. She does a lot of animal stuff for the Long Island Press. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I'm writing an article about this. Would you like to give me a recipe? So it was about like healthy pet treats. And I was like, yeah. So, what I did was I made cookies, but I used your OC Raw pumpkin, the powder,
Yeah.
the pulverized pumpkin powder.
Mhm.
And that was my base for the pumpkin cookie. And I used a little ostrich oil, which is impossible to find, but I told people you don't have to use any oil. Um, and I used, I believe, an egg. But it's so much fun to like explore with different products and everything. Can you talk about what's the pumpkin latte that you offer to?
Oh, yeah, those were a hit at your event.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a single dog who turned that down. So I just use our simple raw goat milk. Okay. So obviously unpasteurized raw, nothing else added in it, just Mother Nature's like straight from the goat. And our freeze dried pumpkin. And in our pumpkin, it's really popular because we sell it raw, but we also sell it shelf stable, which is the freeze dried. And we grind the pulp and the seed. And raw pumpkin seed is anti-parasitic and it's a natural dewormer. Humans eat raw pumpkin seeds for that reason. It's like
Same. Yep.
it's not a new benefit. It's been around for ages, um, but not enough people talk about it. Um,
Mhm.
so the value of a raw pumpkin seed is amazing, but that's all we use. We use the whole pumpkin, and but it's just a high value. You could put it in a treat. You could put it in raw goat milk. You could put it in their food. It's just a high value, high fiber, low fat um, supplement.
Mhm.
It's natural. It's nature. So we sell a lot of pumpkin. I love the shelf stable, but I also love the raw.
Mhm.
So the dog that I have now, he gets the raw version of it because
Mhm.
I love everything that's in its most natural state. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
People
That's always my first choice.
the freeze dried has the same benefits, but I just love everything in its most natural state.
So listen, Wendy, I can't believe this, but we have to wrap it up. But
Yeah.
Before we do, just for any other potentially interested pet stores in your area, can you mention exactly what you cover and also how to reach you?
Yeah, so I cover 6 states: Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina. And we have really established ourselves in the Southeast. So the OC Raw is growing by my company is blown away. It's newer to the Southeast, but in a little over a year, like it is just, we're killing it. And it's because the proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
So dogs love it.
It's because of your great support. I will say that again.
That's part of it, right? That's part of it. But dogs have to also like it and
Yeah.
then and do well on it too. So it's all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this
You
was
know,
amazing.
I just gotta say, there's so many folks that we're connected to, and I think, there's a lot of value in these relationships, Wendy, for sure. So I am not in the Southeast, although, I do probably sound like a Southern Belle, and some people might confuse that. I'm not. I'm straight up here in NYC, Long Island, the whole deal. But I can't help myself sometimes, man. But I would just say, there's probably so many people in our community that would benefit from knowing you. And I have to guess, like all kidding aside, I have to guess that you do have a colleague that is up here in the Northeast that, that could service this marketplace as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah,
So
I do. Yeah.
good. So it'd be great to connect further. It'd be great to get you all connected to really to the society, to the work we're doing, because it's twofold. You'll get to meet with other relationship partners, but you get to meet with other people in this community that we have here that
And
are the people who want to buy the product in the stores. So there's so much here.
yes,
I gotta leave it. Val, go ahead, Val.
I know, but and a big part of what
And
we is advocacy, and we collectively can get better food labeling requirements
yes.
standards passed through.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and that's with folks like yourself who are on that side that we don't know. I know Valerie's got herself deep in the weeds, but not all of us do. So it's folks like you who have the researchers and have the white coats that are in the kitchen figuring this stuff out. I leave you all with this. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Treat your people well, treat your animals well, hug everybody, love and compassion. Make it a great day. Thanks.
So, thank you, everybody.
Guys,
Bye, Wendy. Thank you so much.
have a great weekend.